Hello and welcome to Daytona International Speedway. It's time for Daytona 500 qualifying for the front row. Obviously, Gatorade duels will determine the rest of the starting grid. So we're just kind of waiting for who will be the first guy out, and it looks as though it'll be the 77 of Makoto Iguchi, who's making her way onto the track. One of the many rookies in the field. I think there's like 24 of them. Let me count them again. Actually 23, I'm sorry. But Makoto Iguchi driving for Penske Racing. Her teammates this season will be Daniel Day in the 2 and famous Coke Vanilla Cup Series veteran Amy Shelley, who's along with Daniel Day is one of the original 42. She has 3 wins to her name, I believe, in Coke Vanilla Cup Series action. If not, it's 2, 1 for each of the seasons. So not a lot of pressure on Makoto Iguchi. Definitely has the teammates there that she can, if she relies on them, she can go and do really well. We'll actually watch one full lap, see what Makoto can kind of run, see about where it is, and then we'll go to the next car. But Makoto, like I said, one of the many rookies in the field, trying to make her make a splash here. She ran a partial schedule for Nationwide last season, did pretty well. I mean, I think she was running top 15 in the points when she was forced to drop out due to scheduling conflicts in her own schedule, due to conflicts in her own schedule where she was not able to complete the full season, as some cars already completing a lap. Those are cars that were just positioned behind behind the start finish line. Makoto Iguchi will turn the first official lap here today, and then we will move on to one other driver. That lap, a 47.12, and we'll go and move to Will Lewis in car number 40. Will Lewis, another one of the rookies driving for Chip Ganassi Racing this season. That team did not, it's full of rookies this season, but did not have much success last season, as Gene Sanford was not able to grab a win, and that was the most notable driver that was driving for the team last season. I actually don't remember who was driving for Ganassi last season, but Will Lewis trying to bring Ganassi some success here this season, looking for a good start to the season here at Daytona. And behind him, in the number 13 that was driven by Jacob Budd last season, is Gabe Williams. You see no sponsor in the car. They'll try and look for one, but there's no guarantees that there will be a sponsor on that car for any part of the season here. Another one of the rookies, Jacob Budd, drove that car okay for last season. Did not record a win in the Daytona Speed Incorporated Dodge, but they did at least have sponsorship last season. They do not have that this season. Gabe Williams looking for a strong season here. Obviously not expecting much, but just wanted to run as many laps as he can and do his best. I was going to say Drew Austin went to top charts, but he did not anymore. Here's Chris Louvier, the only rookie over at DEI. His teammates this season will be Charles Jackson and Jeff James, as they Charles Jackson we saw earlier in the Speed Weeks in the Bud Shootout. Not too great of success, but I think he still ran pretty well, all things considered. But Chris Louvier running all 3 series as a rookie this season. Talking to him, his expectations somewhat high, but he just wants to run all the races, or run all the laps for every single race and see what he can do. Now here's one of the original 42 that took a year off of Cup, but is back here for season number 3. It's the road course ace from Russia, Vitaly Nikolaev, trying to improve on his career best finish of a 2nd place. And I don't even remember what the track was, but Vitaly coming off his championship contention season for Reebok Truck Series action, not able to claim the championship, but his teammate Jacob Sisko was able to. But Vitaly decided he did good enough that he wanted to return to the Cup Series this season, driving the number 99 for Roush Fenway Racing. His teammates this season will be William Duncan in the 6, Alex Perkle in the 16, Brennan Patterson in the 17, and Maxwell Chan in the 97. Behind him on the track, and 17th quick on the board right now, returning to the number 4 this season, will be Chris Washer. Chris had a win last season at, I believe, Martinsville, but did not make the chase as the win did not come in the first 26 races in qualifying for the chase for the Coke Vanilla Cup Series title. But obviously, second season, he thinks he can do a lot better than what he did last year. Looking for great improvements, maybe adding 2, maybe even 3 wins to that Lucas Oil Chevrolet. Did not have so good of a showing in the Bud Shootout last just a few nights ago, but oh well. Obviously, that's just an exhibition race. Nothing was online there. We move on to Mary Shelley, who once again returns to her number 38 that she's made so famous. The Season 1 All-Star Race winner actually added a points win to her career last year at Michigan. It's still her only win. She was one of the Final 4 at Homestead, but unfortunately, issues beyond some of her own control forced her out of the race, in which she was not able to take part in the green-white checkered. So obviously looking for improvements to the season, but a great season last year. And obviously got to talk about this man, Charles Jackson, the number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet. The only DEI car that was in the Bud Shootout just a few nights ago. Charles Jackson, another one of the Final 4 contenders from last season, was not able to get it done in that number 14 car. But in a shocking time of turn, he actually does lead the team and came over here to DEI. Almost thought he was going to go to Evernham, but that unfortunately was flip-flopped so many times in rumor mill that he decided to go with the safe choice of DEI. And for the third straight season, well, theoretically for a third straight season, it's a rookie behind the wheel of the number 10 for MBV Motorsports. It's PJ Williams this season. Now, this team won 3 races last season, so obviously, even though they had a rookie behind the wheel, they obviously know how to get it done at any type of track. They didn't have a win in Season 1 when Charles Jackson was behind the wheel, but PJ Williams behind a good seat, looking for a great season here in what will be his first season of Coke Vanilla Cup Series action. He did run the Nationwide Series and Truck Series with some moderate success in Reebok, not much success in Hooters, but decided the Reebok success was good enough for him to move up here into the major series. Find Mary Cole back here, who's currently 27th quick on the board. She's making her debut of any of the 3 series this year, driving the U.S. Air Force Ford that was driven by Devin Whitson last season. Devin Whitson ran that car pretty well. I mean, I think Devin was the top running of those that did not actually make the chase, so definitely a good car behind her, but I don't even remember the team. Shoot, that was bad. The Wood Brothers, looking, I believe, for their first win in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series. Hopefully it'll come with Mary Cole behind the wheel. Come back here to Troy King, driving the car that was driven by Pichu London 1 season ago. Troy King, another one of this big rookie class that we have that we're expecting so many good things out of, as he has Trevor Meacham going to the inside. We'll get to him in a little bit here. Troy King trying to take over for Pichu London, who did not do so well in that car. I think I'd have to take a look, but I think Pichu was like 34th or something in points with that 18. So hopefully with Troy King behind the wheel, that team will have a bounce-back season. And of course, we cannot go any farther without talking about your 2004 Coke Vanilla Cup Series champion, who is returning to the same car, Trevor Meacham, back behind the wheel of the number 31 Singular Wireless Chevrolet for RCR, going for 2 in a row and what would be a 3rd straight championship win for RCR. And what can you say after a season like that? He was spectacular, coming from behind in that championship race to win it all and everything, having to survive the green-white checker at the end, which, by the way, I've liked so much that we're hearing the INORL officials actually liked it so much that we're hearing that they might use more of the green-white checkers. We heard, though, that they will not do that on the road courses. That not in the plan, but more green-white checkers maybe to come, depending on how this goes for the season. As we go back to the Bill Davis car, which is making its return to the series, they drove Season 1 with Sky Collins behind the wheel, but took Season 2 off. Henrietta Fitzwater, one of our road course aces that's in the field, leading this little pack of 4 cars here, currently 26 on the board. Henrietta obviously looking for what would be a good season. The Bill Davis crew did not win a race when they drove back in Season 1 with Sky Commons, finishing 2nd twice. You have Maxwell Chan here, who's 23rd quick, taking over for John McNamara, who also did not have very good of a season there with the 97 crew last season. They're hoping for a bounce back year, especially because not many of the Roush cars, or about half the Roush cars, actually made the chase. They'd love to see all 5 of them make it this season, with especially if they have the rookies of Perkle and Chan make this chase. Let's go up to Tristan Wilhoit here, who's 10th quickest on the board right now. Number 42 of Ganassi, driving with Will Lewis and Allie Nelson behind the wheels of the Ganassis this season. Obviously, don't know much to say about them. They're 3 of our rookies this season, so obviously we wish them the best here, and hopefully they have a great season behind the wheel of that car. And let's go to, I think, the final one of the final 4 contenders from last season that we have yet to talk about. Drew Austin, driving for Furniture Row Racing, a great season for him last year. Came up 2nd behind his teammate there in the final championship standings because he finished 2nd out of the 4 contenders in Homestead. Currently 8th quickest on the board for Drew Austin, and looking for another great season. As, oh, we had a wreck in front of him! Allie Nelson's involved. Oh, that's a tough break. Looks like she might be going to a backup car. 41st on the board, so not much going to be worrying about there. At this point, let's go ahead and talk about Nelson as she's going to be coming down to pit road. Allie Nelson, another one of those rookies that we're talking about, driving the car that Gene Sanford drove last season. Did not have too much success behind the wheel for Gene. Did not make the chase and win a whole season without a win in that 41. Let's see. They do take it behind the wall, so looks like they'll be going to a backup car. Let's go up to Katie Elizabeth here, driving for Robbie Gordon Motorsports in car number 7. Obviously don't know a lot to expect from this team because they're a rookie team. It's going to be their first season of Coke Vanilla action, as I'm kind of wondering what was going on up here. Sent this pack all scrambling. Nick Pericles trying to do a rebound season for this team, which in season 1 with Kyle Osman on the wheel, they won 3 races. A great season for them. But season 2 with Alex Jones, just absolutely terrible. Nothing went right for that team all season long as they finished way low in the points. Pericles trying for a bounce back for that team. Gene Sanford in car number 43 bringing Petty Enterprises back into the series after a 1-season hiatus, as she drove for Ganassi last season, was in the Bud shootout, and that's why she decided to return for this season, but decided, you know what, I want to bring the 43 back into this series, and so that's what she decided to do. She'll be teamed up with Tom Shelley for the season in the 45 there. Alex Perkle, one of the Roush-keteers that we were talking about. Not sure what to expect out of the really aggressive Alex Perkle this season, as I really have not seen him much other than in Slim Jims and all that, and didn't pay attention too much to what was going on with Perkle, but definitely think he has the talent that he needs to be able to run at the top level here. Ish Taylor, one of the JGR drivers, all rookies on that team. Sky Commons drove this car though last season. Had 2 wins, made the chase in it, and so obviously expecting great things out of Ish Taylor this season in the number 11. Kyle Matthews in the 4th Hendrick car this season in the 44 Kellogg Chevrolet. Not sure what to expect out of this team, as it was kind of a late mention. They weren't even really sure if this car was going to be run this season, but here they are, and Kyle Matthews behind the wheel as a rookie. Has some very talented teammates in Kyle Sosnowski, Dylan Young, Seth Cole, sorry. I'm used to there being the 48 as well, but Kyle Matthews, the 2nd fastest driver on speed charts right now. Like I said, teamed up with Kyle Sosnowski, Seth Cole, and Dylan Young. Should be a great team right there. Covered Makoto Iguchi. How about Seth Cole? Let's cover him a little bit since we haven't already. Seth Cole drove last season for the 01 on a partial schedule, but ran too many races to be counted as a rookie for this season. And we'll get to one that's actually still not being counted as a rookie, or being counted as a rookie despite running some races. We'll cover him. Seth Cole won a race for the 01 team, which is not in here for this season, the MB2 Motorsports Group. Kind of a shame there, but I know Seth is very anxious for the opportunity here to drive for Hendrick Motorsports this season. Hoping that if he can run well, he can make it multi-season deal here with the 25 crew. Roman Rahal in the number 14, which went to the Final Four last season as a Dodge, though. Taking over for Charles Jackson can't be a good task here. So we'll have to see how Roman can do with all that pressure that's on him. Although then again, the team only won one race and was not very successful for a lot of the season. But did have enough success to make the chase and make the Final Four. Let's see, we got Henry Sanford up here in this pack. Not much to say either here. He will be racing in the All-Star race. That's why he's in here. Going back to the PPI racing team, which his sister drove for, to a Brickyard 400 win in Season 1. Hoping that success that she had can, and the success that Matt Dixon also had, can bring to more success for who is one of the top winners in all-time history. As wow, Kyle Matthews nearly got turned by PJ Williams back here. How about Kyle Thomas, one of our returning drivers and actually one of the original 42 drivers, driving for the Haas CNC team in the Best Buy Chevrolet right now. They also have Net Zero lined up for some races this season. Kyle Thomas has 2 races to his name, or 2 wins to his name. I'm sorry, not 2 races, but 2 wins. Kansas Season 1 and Homestead Season 2. So hoping that the win, despite being like 3 months after that win, that he has some great momentum going into the season. And then we'll cover Elijah Workman here. Just as we do, they're all on the wall and they're wrecking. Oh, that was good timing. Elijah Workman, and Meacham got into him. That's going to be a backup car for Meacham. So Meacham will be in the back as well now. So that's 2 cars going in the back. Elijah Workman's going to have a backup car now. And before we were going to say that, Elijah Workman did not have a very good season for RCR last season. So hoping to bounce back for and maybe complete that clean sweep that he's been trying so hard for. As I see Makoto Iguchi here in the damage isn't going to be too bad. They're actually going to fix the car. I'm trying to get back. Well, actually, we're on one of the cars. Here's Eric and Rage, one of the mini rookies this season, taking over for the ride that Drew Austin drove. So obviously pressure on him, not only driving for RCR, who's won the 2 series titles so far, but obviously taking over for a car that was in the Final Four. As I'm going to actually have to write down who is going to the back at some point here. But Eric and Rage, a lot of pressure on him. We'll hope that he can keep underneath the pressure and still run very well. Okay, here's the guy I was trying to get to. Kyle Sosnowski, who will be running the Star Wars scheme here all season long. Specifically requested by Kyle Sosnowski. Did not have a great Season 2 without failing to record a win in that season. Obviously hoping for much better success this season, as he is the Season 1 Pocono 2 winner. He did not win the first one, but each track only has 1 win now. Going to try and go through this way to catch up to others. I don't think we've talked about him. Daniel Day, one of the Penske drivers, driving for the number 2 this season, as so far he's driven for 3 different teams. He's driven for Roush in the 17, then he drove the one that's being driven by Chris Louvier this season. Now he's driving for Penske Racing. Has the All-Star Race win from last season. Has 3 wins to his name. Or no, actually has 4. He's second all-time on the wins list behind Adam Derrickson. Hoping to add to that and maybe take over that feat this season. William Duncan right behind him. Car number 6 has been improving slightly each season. Season 1, he just barely missed the chase. Season 2, he was one of the final 8 drivers in contention. Maybe this season he can be one of the final 4, or even our champion here. Talked about Katie Elizabeth. We have not talked about Momo Akari, one of our mini rookies as well. Driving one of the RCR cars. This was the old number 30 that was driven by Tony Hurd in Season 1, and then Henry Sanford in Season 2. Obviously, driving for RCR in this series, there's so much pressure on you for driving for the only team to actually win the title so far. A lot of pressure on the rookie. Let's hope that she succeeds in all respects. Jeff James, who is probably the most interesting case to follow last season in the silly season. Rumored to have been going to Evernham, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, signed the extension for DEI after winning at Phoenix. So Jeff James returning to his old number 15, and Daniel Day is blown up. Oh, that's another car going to the back of the field. Wow, we have 4 cars already going to the back of the field no matter what. Jeff James, though, back to what I was going to say about him. He's got 2 wins to his name so far in Coke Vanilla Cup Series action. 1 win at the Daytona International Speedway, and then 1 win at, Phoenix. I'm sorry, I was just talking about it, too. Hopefully he can add to that and maybe even be a title threat once again this season, as he made the chase in Season 1, missed in Season 2. And here is that case I was talking about a driver who has run in the Coke Vanilla Cup Series, but was determined to have not had enough races under his belt to be considered a rookie. Tom Shelley, who took over, if you remember, took over for Amy Shelley when she was injured back in Season 2 at the end of it, or during the chase and all that at Talladega. Tom Shelley took over for her, raced 6 races. Yeah, raced 6 races. So, but they decided that 6 races is not enough time to be considered a veteran of the series. So Tom Shelley will be racing with the rookie banner under his name. Don't think I've actually talked about Brendan Patterson. 4th quickest so far, as Momo Akari has actually gone to the top of the charts. Brendan Patterson's been a very interesting case. I think he has 2 wins to his name. Darlington Season 1 when he was driving the Petty 43, and then back in Season 2 when he drove underneath the 17. I don't even remember the track. William probably can correct me if I'm wrong, or I can just look at the career wins. He either has 2 or 3 wins all time, I don't know. But Patterson was one of the chasers last season, hoping to make the chase once again with winning a race and maybe being one of those Final 4 at Homestead. As Alex Hawkins, the final one of the JGR rookies this season, driving the number 20, that has had some mixed success so far in the series. Kyle Austin did not win a race in it last season, but Austin Ogo Season 1 won 3 races. It'll be interesting to see if Alex Hawkins can draw Ogo's success or Austin's lack of success while driving that car this season. Have not talked about Zachary Fitzwater. Dylan Young's in the wall. We haven't talked about him either. But Zachary Fitzwater driving the car that Brad Johnson drove 1 season ago. Wow, there's 2 minutes left and I still haven't talked about people. Dang. It'll be interesting to see if Zachary Fitzwater can feed off the same success that the 19 had last season. Tom Gerard, who has raced every single Coke Vanilla Cup Series race and has yet to win 72 races strong in that winless streak. Hopefully he can snap at some point this season and be a title threat during the season. Obviously you gotta talk about Dylan Young. Crap. Well, never mind about that. Watch that be the only car. Okay, actually here's one. Alex May, driving the Peak Performance Motorsports entry this season, the number 66. Rookie for the series, one of the minis, so not sure what to expect out of this guy. But definitely will be interested in watching him compete this season and hopefully running well and up front for most of it. That covers everyone except for Dylan Young. I have not talked about him yet, so obviously we'll talk about him now, as he's 10th quickest on the board. Dylan Young had very terrible season last year through the first 26 races, but just hit some sort of stride when they started the chase. They clicked off top 10 after top 10 in that car. And it should be interesting to see if he can still keep that same success that he had at the end of the last season. As just barely getting that in, Momo Akari currently is your fastest car in practice, and we have not seen her have any problems. As, oh boy, they're 4 wide there for a second. That made me nervous. And something interesting that I want to see if you guys are interested in it. Having nationalities for the drivers. I'll say that right now. I'd be interested in doing it, but if people just came up with silly nationalities that didn't fit their names, I wouldn't be interested in doing it. So it almost had to be like realistic, depending on your driver. Like Momo Akari, I think I can understand being from like a Taiwanese or some sort of Asian country. But like an Allie Nelson, I don't think I could see her being outside of North America or anything. Dylan Young returns to track. Currently 10th fastest. We're not sure if they went to the backup car or just went to garage area. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay. We're hearing they did fix the car, so nothing going wrong there. As we're hearing practice is officially in the books. We have 4 cars that will be going to the back, if I can never remember what they are, and I'll have to jot them down real quick. Or I'll have to watch this back or something and play them back and all that. But Momo Akari and Kyle Matthews will be your front row starters. Momo Akari getting the spot into the Bud shootout. And with that, practice is done and in the books. Like I said, Momo Akari is your pole sitter. Kyle Matthews will start on the outside front row. And these drivers are the only 2 that know where they will be starting in the Great American Race. Everyone else will have to wait for the dual race to decide their fate. Obviously, if you're one of the drivers I talked about having problems like Daniel Day, doesn't matter where he finishes, he will start from the back of the field here. If you're an odd numbered spot right here, like Eric and Rage in 3rd, you'll be starting in duel number 1. If you're an even driver like Brennan Patterson here in 4th, you will be starting in Gatorade duel number 2. As I'll show you the bottom once again, just to show you who is where. Tom Shelley, 34th, the only rookie with actual cup experience. Never mentioned this, and I will now. I'm very interested in seeing how this rookie battle plays out, because we will be using realistic rookie standings, so taking the top like 17 finishes, and obviously like after 17 races, if you beat one of your worst finishes, that will be replaced and all that, and seeing who will be your champion or your rookie champion at the end of the season. So that'll be fun to see. But I'm Gordon Fantana 1, and this has been Daytona 500 qualifying. Congrats to Momo Akari on getting the pole, and Kyle Matthews on being in Gatorade duel number, or being the other front row starter. We'll see you for the dual races.